Hello, scholars. You've probably met me by now. You've had a video in your email inbox now, and my name is Dr. Amelia Beshin. This video is going to talk to you about the communication style, actually, of active listening. As you've heard me say throughout this course, most of communication involves listening, and so I'm going to kind of walk you through this particular skill on this video. Your assignment for this week is to actually then find somebody, find a partner, and ask them to kind of help you with your class project. You too are going to video this skill and show me that you are demonstrating what we call active listening. So I've rounded up a partner today. She's going to help me out here, and I am going to demonstrate this skill of active listening. Before I do, I want to talk to you about the value of active listening. First of all, you know that it gives the person who is talking to you sort of this empowerment feeling. You are truly genuine, you are truly present with them, and you are listening. So much of what we do today in our fast-paced world, we lose connection with people. The more you are able to sit, listen, have a conversation with somebody, the better communicator you will be. And you'll see this play out. Really all active listening is attending to verbal and nonverbal aspects of what the person is communicating to you. The other piece of this that might be a little bit harder for most people, including myself, is that you're doing it without judging or evaluating anything that they are saying. You all have become the experts at non-evaluative comments because I've had you do that each week in our discussion posts. So watch this play out. I'm not saying anything like, good job, or that sounds like it was terrible, or anything like that. All I am truly doing is listening to what she is saying. It's a very valuable skill. Now we are also going to pair this skill with the second skill that I want you to try this week with your partner, your friend, whoever you have that has volunteered their time and is so gracious to help you out with this video project, and that is summarizing. While I'm actively listening and I'm paying attention to my partner's nonverbal cues as well, I want to be sure that I summarize something back to her. I want to give her something in return for what she is telling me. Most summarizations will start off with kind of a launch into it like, so what I hear you saying is, and then you summarize what you heard the person say, and then at the end of the summarization statement, you ask, is that correct? The reason why you ask that, or anything similar to that, is because you invite that person to then correct you if you were wrong, and because it was their statement in the first place, you want to make sure that you give them the power to actively communicate to you exactly what it is that they want you to hear, so that you're not misinterpreting it in any way. So we're going to pair those two skills together now, active listening and summarizing. I'm looking through my list here to make sure that I cover everything I want to tell you about active listening and summarizing. The reason why we actively listen, besides everything that I have said so far, is to encourage trust and self-disclosure from the other person. This person now will trust you more because you've taken the time to actually listen. Most times when people are communicating, it's all we can do to focus on them because we want to interrupt them with some good idea that we have. Try the best that you can to stop that from happening and seriously, intently listen. Even my body language right now as I'm demonstrating this, I'm leaned in and I may be nodding towards her every once in a while. It shows that I am here and now in the present moment with you. It's a really big difference there. And the other part of this, once I've established this trust, is now she might feel more comfortable sharing more information with me, which is great because in terms of communication and business models, you want to know as much information about your client as you possibly can because you want to give them the best business proposal. You want to give them the best pitch that you can about sustainability and why it's important for their company to practice sustainable options. So, those are some positives about the active listening piece. Summarization gives you kind of direction on where to go next. Once the person is done speaking, you give them that summary back. You ask them, is that correct? Even you can say something like, did I miss anything in there? And when you do that, you're inviting them to kind of restate some important points. And then it gives them direction on where to go next. It's interesting because simply summarizing exactly what the person says gets them to open up more. It doesn't seem like it, but it will. So let's watch this play out here. This is my volunteer here. So, Susan, what would you like to talk about today?
Retirement.
Retirement.
Mm-hmm. Dealing with someone who is retiring and getting used to the idea of them being around all the time and things like that.
Getting used to someone being around all the time.
Mm-hmm. When they're not usually there all the time. It's just, and getting used to, because they want to keep busy, the projects that they take on, multiple projects, leaving them unfinished.
Projects that are unfinished.
Correct.
We're going to pause here for just a second so I can teach a little bit more to the students who are going to watch this video.
Okay.
But as you see, I'm not saying very much at all. In my body language, and I'm inviting Susan to speak about what she wants to speak about. And just now, I'm not sure if the camera angle may have caught it, but then she smiled, so what did I do also? Smiled back. And the reason why I do that is I'm wondering, there's probably something else there that she may want to say about those many projects that are left undone. And she's laughing about it now. But that smile kind of matches what she is doing, and that's a good thing for the body language indicator that we've already talked about. So with that smile and then me kind of matching that smile, it invites her to say some more. And I didn't even say, tell me more. I just kind of matched what she was doing. So now we're going to go back into talking about these multiple projects and working with adjustment to someone who is retiring and going to be around a lot more than previous. Starting things and not finishing them. Did I catch all that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
And the being around so much is the fact that then I feel like I need to not be as independent as I have been, because his job was one that he was home late. So when I get home, then I have to start thinking about a dinner not only for me, but a dinner for him. And it means to work, and I'm ready to relax.
So there's some more involved on your part as well then.
Yeah. And the unfinished projects is just, it just gets messy. And I'm messy too, but it just irritates when I come home and there's another project that started and the other one is not finished yet.
Irritating.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I just would like to see something that could keep him busy, because it seems like this is only part-time and there's more to come when he goes full-time.
Full-time?
Retirement.
Hmm.
So it's, I gotta figure out a way to do it and deal with it.
You're kind of considering your options then too.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to come across with a mean attitude because of unfinished projects. Because the projects mean so much to him. And it appears if I come across mean, then I'm criticizing that he can't do it or can't finish it. And I can't communicate that way because I want him to feel loved and cared for, but so I'm searching on ways to do that.
You have a dilemma in how to communicate with him.
Exactly.
Especially around this.
Because I don't want to hurt feelings or make him feel like, okay, we'll just throw it away then. because I'd like to see him finish the project. Because usually what he finishes is good.
Sounds like you deeply care about this person.
Yes, I do. And that digs down deeper into the concern of what's going to be coming when the actual financial stuff comes in too, when he goes full-time retirement. And finances, which haven't come up yet, are another issue that I'm adapting to, because he retired sooner than I expected at part-time. So it took a turnaround on our finances drastically. And then he had the medical issue, and so the medical issue, you know, took him off his job for a couple of weeks. And that was another unexpected financial problem. And we do seem to make it through, but it's by paycheck by paycheck. And those paychecks are going to get smaller and less.
So we're going to finish up our time here, and thank you for volunteering to do this. But what it sounds like is going on, there are multiple things that are involved in this retirement. As you had stated, the first thing is, how am I going to adjust my time? And having someone around for lengthier periods. The next one is, how can I be of support to this person that I care about a lot, while also being frustrated that there are a bunch of unfinished projects just kind of laying around. And what I also heard you say there, though, is that you are very proud of the work that he does do when he is finished with the project. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is.
And then here towards the end, you brought in the financial aspect as well, that things will probably get tight there if they haven't already. It's sort of a paycheck to paycheck kind of a thing. And that may feel a little bit different than what you were used to or what you had planned on, because he retired earlier than you thought. And then finally, the medical concern as well. So did I capture all of what you were saying?
Yes, you did. Every point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. So now addressing back into the class, you saw how I kind of carefully listened to what Susan was saying, and then as I pointed out there with the summarization skill, I summarized exactly back what she had to say. I didn't add anything necessarily to what she said. I was just taking bits and pieces of what she said. What I found were kind of what I term the golden nuggets, the things that I could tell she was the most passionate about or the most concerned about. And then I just gave that back to her and almost said, here it is. Did I get it? Was this accurate? Continuously checking in with her, because she is the expert on herself. And so she would be able to tell me if I was wrong. And in the way that I communicated that to her, it was an open invitation for her to rebuke me. Now, this works better with cultures who feel comfortable rebuking those who are in an authority position. So it may not necessarily work with other populations where you respond to authority with respect and do not challenge anything that they say. I hope that that makes sense. That's kind of a basic brushing the surface of culture, but I did want to throw that out there as an option as well. This is also coming from what is considered the humanistic philosophy as well, where it's about the person who I am interviewing is the expert on themselves, and ultimately they have the right to tell me if I am wrong or right about them. So it would be very, very different if somebody, for example, since I am a counseling psychologist, if somebody were to come into my office and expect me just to give them solutions to their current problem, they're not going to be able to warm up really well to this style of communication, to this active listening and then summarization on top of active listening. You see that it is kind of a tough skill to do this active listening piece, because it does mean I've got to turn off my cell phone. I've got to really, truly pay attention to the person that is speaking to me. But now I'm going to ask, and it seems like Susan was actually a bit surprised at the amount of information that I had remembered about everything that she had talked about in that maybe 5-minute span of time. And she's nodding her head there. Is that, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot there that you were talking about, but I think I captured it okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really kind of the point of active listening and summarization. Now, your turn. Go out and find somebody who's willing to help you out with this assignment, and then drop it off in the D2L digital Dropbox. Thanks, and have a great day.